Marcus's email didn't just fire me, it buried my father's memory with a single line. The Summit Edge boardroom, glass walls catching the pale Boise dawn, felt like a tomb. I sat alone, my laptop's glow harsh against the shadows, the server humming like a distant pulse. 3 days ago, I'd stood by Dad's casket, lilies choking the air, Marcus's approval for my bereavement leave still warm on my phone. Now his email stared back, Times New Roman font blurring as my eyes stung. Clear your desk by end of day, Hannah. Bereavement leave isn't an excuse for absence. My breath caught, sharp, a knife twisting in my gut. 5 years I'd built this team. Late nights, birthdays celebrated with grocery store cake, handwritten notes from Clara, Julian, the others pinned to my corkboard. All dismissed, my father's death reduced to failure to prioritize critical operations. Marcus's digital signature, crisp below the text, mocked me. I clicked forward, sent it to my personal account, hands steady despite the rage. The cactus on my desk, a team gift from last Christmas, pricked my finger as I reached for it. Blood beaded, a tiny rebellion against the numbness. I didn't cry, didn't slam the keyboard, didn't scream. I printed the email, the machine whirring, paper warm in my hands. The signature's font looked off, a hair too bold, something to check later. I folded it, tucked it into my purse, my pulse a quiet drum. The boardroom's silence pressed in, heavy, the city lights beyond the glass flickering like false promises. Dad's voice echoed, his Boise River lesson. Rock stays steady, Hannah girl. I wasn't moving yet, but I was no river. I was stone, unyielding, waiting. My fingers traced the team photo on my desk. Clara's grin, Julian's quiet nod, all of us at the retreat, arms linked. Marcus thought he'd erased me. He'd learn what that cost. I stood, chair scraping, the sound raw in the stillness. My purse felt heavier, the email inside a loaded gun. I didn't look back at the photo, the cactus, the notes. Not yet. I'd carry them out, but first, I'd carry this betrayal. The server's hum faltered, a stutter, as if it knew. I didn't flinch, didn't pause, didn't break. My phone buzzed, screen lighting up, Clara's text slicing through. Hannah, what's happening? Marcus is in the boardroom. I packed my life into a box while Marcus watched from his glass cage. The Summit Edge boardroom, its glass walls dim under dawn's gray veil, swallowed my breath. 3 days ago, I stood in the funeral parlor, lilies heavy, their scent clawing my throat, Marcus's leave approval glowing on my phone. Take what you need, Hannah. Now my desk, cactus, team photo, Clara's handwritten note, lay bare, newspaper crinkling as I wrapped each piece. The oak door of that parlor creaked in my mind, final, like the life I'd built here shutting. Clara burst in, her boots thudding, voice cracking like splintered wood. He fired you for grieving? Her eyes blazed, fists clenched, the air sharp with her rage. Julian followed quieter, his jaw tight. We're not staying under him, Hannah. I taped the box, newspaper rustling, my whisper low. Not yet. The printed email, folded in my purse, burned heavier, its metadata a question I'd answer soon. I didn't look up, didn't falter, didn't break. The boardroom's silence pressed, thick, Marcus's silhouette looming behind his office blinds, tie knotted, eyes cold. I saw Dad by the Boise River, his voice steady. Rocks don't rush, Hannah girl. My fingers grazed the team photo, Clara's grin, Julian's nod, our retreat's laughter frozen. 5 years reduced to cardboard. Grief choked me, but defiance burned hotter. Marcus thought he'd won. He'd learn what loyalty cost. Clara's hand grazed mine, her whisper fierce. We'll follow you anywhere. Julian nodded, his gaze locked on Marcus's door, a vow in his silence. I tucked the photo in the box, the cactus, newspaper crinkling louder now, a pulse in the quiet. The cactus, its spines sharp, pricked my palm, blood beating, a tiny oath. I didn't cry, didn't shout, didn't beg. I packed steady, each item a brick in the wall I'd build. The glass walls reflected my face, pale, unyielding, the city lights beyond flickering, faint, like lies. The email in my purse, its paper edges crisp, held Marcus's signature, too bold, a clue I'd chase. Clara stepped closer, her breath quick. We're planning something, Hannah. I met her eyes, saw fire, saw fight. My pulse thrummed, a drum for what came next. Marcus's door swung open, his tie perfectly knotted. Marcus thought his email ended me. My words told him it began. The Summit Edge boardroom, glass walls glinting under fluorescent haze, trapped my pulse. I taped my box shut, newspaper crinkling, the cactus's spine still stinging my palm. Clara's voice lingered, her vow fierce, Julian's nod a quiet oath. Marcus's silhouette had watched, but now his office door yawned open, his polished shoes clicking, tie tugged with a nervous flick. Back to work, he snapped, arms crossed, voice sharp as a blade. Deadlines don't wait for sentiment. I turned, slow, my eyes locking on his, the air conditioner's chill biting my skin. You'll regret measuring my grief against your quotas, Marcus. My voice was low, steady, a warning carved in stone. His jaw twitched, a crack in his smug mask, his fingers tightening on his sleeve. Clara stepped closer, her breath quick, her hand trembling as she pressed a gold pen into my palm. Its surface cool, my initials engraved deep. From the team, she whispered, eyes burning, a vow louder than words. I didn't flinch, didn't blink, didn't break. The pen glinted, catching the boardroom's cold light, heavy with trust, a weapon I'd wield later. I tucked it into my purse beside the folded email, its paper edges sharp, the signature's bold font nagging at my mind. Wrong somehow, a thread to pull. Marcus's gaze darted, his tie tugged again, a tick betraying his calm. He thought he'd buried me, thought my team would scatter. He'd learn what loyalty forged. My thoughts flashed to Dad, his Boise River rocks steady under rushing water, his voice clear. Patience, Hannah girl. Fury burned, but I leashed it, my pulse a drum, my resolve a fire. Clara's hand grazed mine, her whisper fierce. We're with you. Julian stood behind, his silence loud, his eyes on Marcus like a hunter's. The boardroom's glass reflected us, me, unbowed, them, unbroken, a unit Marcus couldn't crack. I lifted my box, the cactus rattling, the team photo tucked inside, its weight a promise. The air conditioner hummed cold, the boardroom's silence thick, Marcus's silhouette stiffening. He opened his mouth, but I cut him off, my gaze steel. Don't, I said, soft, deadly, the word a wall. His lips closed, his tie a noose he'd tied himself. I didn't shout, didn't beg, didn't bend. I walked steady, the email in my purse a ticking bomb. Clara leaned close, her whisper sharp. Check the email's metadata. The email wasn't Marcus's, someone else signed my death warrant. The HR office, white walls closing in like a sterile cage, swallowed my breath. Lila Grant sat across the desk, her smile tight, practiced, sliding separation papers toward me, their edges crisp. I clutched my purse, the folded termination email inside, its paper crinkling under my fingers, heavy as a vow. The Boise River glinted beyond the window, steady, unyielding, Dad's voice echoing, "Rocks don't rush, Hannah girl." I wasn't rushing, not yet, but I was watching. I unfolded the email, its ink stark, Marcus's digital signature bold at the bottom. Too bold, the font a hair off, not his usual clean serif. My pulse quickened, suspicion sparking like a match. This isn't his, I said, voice low, eyes locked on Lila's. Her pen froze midair, her brows twitching, a crack in her calm. I'll check with legal, she muttered, scratching a note, the sound sharp, grating like nails on glass. I didn't nod, didn't smile, didn't blink. The walls pressed closer, the air thick, my mind racing. Marcus thought he'd erased me, thought his email was a clean cut, but signatures don't lie, or do they? I saw the funeral parlor, lilies choking, Marcus's approval text glowing. Take your time. Now this lie, this font, this crack in his armor. I tucked the email back, its crinkle loud, a promise I'd keep. The pen in my purse, Clara's gift, brushed my fingers, its engraved initials cool, grounding. Lila's eyes darted, her pen still scratching, her voice softer now. I'm sorry, Hannah, about your father. I nodded, my face stone, my heart a drum. Sorry didn't undo betrayal, didn't unwrite Marcus's words. I saw Dad by the river, his hands steady, rocks unmoved by the current. I wasn't breaking, wasn't begging, wasn't done. The email, its secret locked in metadata, was my first rock, my first step. The office's fluorescent hum buzzed, cold, the river's glint fading as clouds rolled in. Lila stacked the papers, her fingers unsteady, her glance fleeting. "Anything else?" she asked, voice thin. I shook my head, slow, deliberate, my purse heavier now, the email a blade I'd sharpen. Clara's vow echoed, Julian's nod, their fire fueling mine. Marcus thought he'd won. He'd learn what truth cost. I stood, purse in hand, the pen's weight steady, the email's crinkle a pulse. The door loomed, heavy, my steps measured, each one a vow. I didn't look back, didn't pause, didn't waver. The river kept moving, but I was stone, unyielding, ready. My phone buzzed, screen flaring, Julian's message sharp. "The Wilson files are locked, only you had access." Marcus didn't know I'd locked his empire in my files. Vertex's open concept office, Boise skyline shining through vast windows, hummed with possibility. I stood before Hank Fleming, his silver beard catching the light, his handshake firm, steady like a vow. "Division Director Hannah," he said, voice warm. "Your non-compete's a bluff, unenforceable." My pulse thrummed, quiet vengeance sparking, the printed email in my purse heavy, its crinkled edges a blade I'd honed. I didn't smile, didn't nod, didn't waver. Hank leaned back, desk cluttered with contracts, his eyes sharp. "Summit Edge is stalling, Wilson account frozen, your file system's a maze." I saw Dad by the Boise River, rocks unmoved, his voice clear. "Patience, Hannah girl." My files, my labyrinth, had trapped Marcus, his empire choking without my keys. I forwarded the email to my lawyer, fingers steady, the mismatched signature a bomb I'd detonate later. Marcus thought he'd erased me. He'd learn what control cost. My phone vibrated, Clara's text glowing. "We're applying to Vertex." My breath caught, sharp, her words a fire igniting. Clara, Julian, the team, they weren't just loyal. They were mine, a tide turning against Marcus's shore. I tapped the engraved pen in my purse, its gold glinting, Clara's gift, my initials carved like a claim. The skyline shimmered, bright, a city waiting for my move. I didn't rush, didn't shout, didn't break. Hank's voice cut through, low, knowing. "Your team's welcome here, Hannah, if they're half as good as you?" I met his gaze, my resolve a drum, my plan a pulse. The email, its font too bold, whispered of Marcus's lie, a thread I'd pull at the right moment. I saw the funeral parlor, lilies fading, Marcus's approval a mask now shattered. My vengeance wasn't loud, wasn't brash, wasn't done. The office's glass walls reflected my face, calm, unyielding, the skyline's glow a promise. Clara's text burned, Julian's nod in my mind, their loyalty a weapon I'd wield. I slipped the phone into my pocket, its weight grounding, the email in my purse heavier now, a reckoning. Hank's pen scratched, signing my offer, the sound crisp, final. I didn't flinch, didn't pause, didn't doubt. The Boise River glinted in my memory, steady, its rocks my guide. Marcus's empire, built on quotas, on betrayal, was crumbling, my files its chains. I walked to the window, city lights sharp, my reflection stone. The team's move, the lawyer's call, the email's secret, they were mine, my rocks, my tide. I wasn't falling, wasn't fleeing, wasn't finished. My phone rang, Julian's voice urgent. "Marcus is panicking." My team didn't just follow me, they burned Marcus's bridge. The coffee shop, tucked off Boise's downtown, hummed with morning steam, coffee curling like smoke. I sat in a corner booth, the engraved pen tapping my palm, its gold glinting, my initials a quiet vow. The printed email folded in my purse felt like a gun, its mismatched signature a bullet I'd fire soon. Clara slid in across from me, her eyes burning, fierce, Julian beside her, his nod steady, unwavering. They dropped a stack of papers, Vertex application confirmations, edges crisp, rustling like battle flags. Clara leaned forward, voice low, electric. We trust you, Hannah. All of us applied. Julian's gaze locked mine, his words sharp. Clients want you. Wilson's asking why you're gone. My breath caught, momentum surging, a tide crashing Marcus's walls. I saw Dad by the Boise River, rocks holding firm, his voice clear. Strength builds slow, Hannah girl. My team wasn't just loyal, they were my army, their choice a torch to Marcus's empire. I tapped the pen, its rhythm steady, my pulse a drum. You're risking everything, I said, soft, testing. Clara's smile flashed, defiant. Marcus risked more firing you. Julian nodded, his fingers grazing the confirmations, their rustle loud in the quiet. I pulled my phone, texted Hank. Consider my team. The send button clicked. Final, a step toward ruin. The email in my purse, its paper heavy, whispered of Marcus's lie, its metadata a fuse I'd light. The shop's steam swirled, bitter, the morning light slanting through dusty windows, sharp as truth. I didn't cheer, didn't shout, didn't pause. My thoughts raced, the funeral parlor's lilies fading, Marcus's approval a betrayal now exposed. Clara's eyes held fire, Julian's silence steel, their confirmations a vow louder than words. I saw Summit Edge's boardroom, Marcus's tie tugged, his empire cracking without my files, without us. The pen's gold caught the light, my initials gleaming, a claim I'd make real. The confirmations lay between us, a bridge to Vertex, a pyre for Marcus. I didn't flinch, didn't doubt, didn't bend. My team's choice, their trust, their fight, it fueled me, a current stronger than grief. I tucked the papers close, their rustle a pulse, my plan a blade sharpening. Marcus thought he'd won. He'd learn what unity cost. The booth's leather creaked, Clara's hand grazing mine, her whisper fierce. We're ready, Hannah. Julian's phone buzzed, his glance quick, his nod subtle, a signal something stirred. I stood, purse heavy, the email's weight a promise, the pen's cool metal grounding. The coffee steam faded, the shop's hum distant, my resolve afire. I wasn't running, wasn't hiding, wasn't done. My phone lit up, Diane Kessler's name flashing, her text desperate. Hannah, we need to meet. Marcus raised his glass to victory. I raised his ruin. The Boise rooftop restaurant, city lights flickering beyond floor-to-ceiling windows, buzzed with Summit Edge's elite. Chandeliers glowed, casting shadows on the mahogany table, wine glasses clinking, Marcus at the head smirking, toasting the Wilson account renewal. I sat across, invited as a courtesy, my purse heavy, the email and engraved pen inside, a loaded arsenal. Clara's eyes burned from the corner, Julian's nod steady, their loyalty my shield. Marcus's voice boomed, smug, glass high. To success, to quotas, to us. The room clapped, but Diane Kessler, regional manager, leaned close, her whisper desperate. Return, Hannah, name your price. I met her gaze, calm, unyielding, my fingers grazing the USB in my pocket. This email says why I won't, I said, voice low, sliding the drive across the table, its click sharp, final. The projector flared, Marcus's forged email blazing on the screen, his signature, too bold, a bonus-driven lie, exposed to gasps. Fired for grieving, I said, steady, to pad his numbers. Nora Blake, Wilson's rep, stood, her voice cutting. We're with Vertex. Marcus's pen scratched dryly, useless, his tie crooked, his face pale. I slid my engraved pen across, gold glinting under chandelier light, my initials carved deep. You'll need this, I said, soft, deadly. The room froze, city lights flickering like dying stars, the silence ablaze. I saw Dad by the Boise River, rock steady, his voice clear. Truth holds, Hannah girl? Marcus thought he'd erased me, thought his scam was clean. My USB, my team, my truth. They shattered his throne. I didn't shout, didn't flinch, didn't bend. The email, its metadata cracked open, was my fire, my tide, my vengeance. Clara's smile flashed, fierce. Julian's hand grazed his phone, a signal sent. Nora's team filed out, contracts in hand, Summit Edge's empire crumbling in real time. Marcus's eyes darted, his pen, mine now, trembling in his grip, his smirk gone, his power dust. Diane's face drained, her fingers clutching her glass, her whisper lost in the chaos. I stood, purse light now, the email's weight lifted, its work done. The chandelier's glow pulsed, the city's skyline sharp, my reflection stone in the glass. I didn't look back, didn't pause, didn't waver. My team's trust, Nora's defection, Marcus's ruin, they were mine, forged in grief, fired in truth. The dinner meant to crown him, crowned me instead. I walked, steady, the USB warm in my pocket, the pen's echo a vow. Marcus's world was breaking, and I was its architect. Diane leaned close, her whisper trembling. The board knows. Marcus didn't fall. His world stopped answering. Vertex's sleek office, Boise's skyline sharp beyond glass walls, pulsed with quiet triumph. I sat at my new desk, the engraved pen in hand, its ink flowing smooth, my signature bold on the division director contract. The printed email, folded beside me, lay still, its work done, its forged signature a ghost of Marcus's lies. Claire and Julian stood nearby, their Summit Edge badges gone, their Vertex IDs fresh, their resignations a knife to Marcus's empire. My phone buzzed, Nora Blake's email glowing. Wilson signed with Vertex, Hannah, because of you. I saw the rooftop dinner, Marcus's pen scratching dry, my pen, gold, mine, sliding across. Now his ID deactivated, his mouse clicked dead buttons, his emails bounced, his office dark. Summit Edge bled clients, contracts piling on my desk. Crisp, heavy, a tide Marcus couldn't stem. I didn't gloat, didn't cheer, didn't pause. Clara's voice cut through, fierce, warm. We're here, Hannah, all of us. Julian nodded, his smile faint, his eyes steel. Their resignations, synced, surgical, had crippled Summit Edge, servers stalling, deadlines missed, my locked files, their chains. I saw Dad by the Boise River, rock steady, his voice soft. Build, Hannah girl, don't break. I built with Clara, with Julian, with truth. Marcus's empire built on quotas, on betrayal, eroded, silent, final. Diane's voice trembled over the phone, desperate, cracking. Hannah, the board's investigating, clients are leaving. I stayed silent, my pen tapping, its rhythm calm, my pulse steady. The email, its metadata cracked open at the dinner, had done its work, Marcus's bonus scam exposed, his name dust. I signed another contract, ink flowing, the stack growing, Vertex's future bright. I didn't speak, didn't push, didn't need to. The office's hum softened, the skyline's lights sharp, my reflection unyielding in the glass. Clara's hand grazed a contract, her grin fierce. Julian's fingers typed, his focus a vow. The email, now a relic, held no weight, its power spent, its lie undone. I saw the funeral parlor, lilies wilting, Marcus's approval a mask I'd torn off. My team, my files, my pen, they were my rocks, my tide, my victory. The desk's wood gleamed, contracts piling, their edges crisp, their weight a promise. I didn't rush, didn't flaunt, didn't falter. Marcus's world, once loud, was quiet now, his office empty, his name erased. I leaned back, pen still, the Boise River in my mind, its current steady, its rocks mine. The collapse wasn't loud, wasn't brash, wasn't mine to force. It was his, earned, inevitable. My phone lit up, Lila's text stark. The board found Marcus's bonus scam. I didn't need to shout. My team's success screamed for me. Vertex's conference room, glass walls gleaming, hummed with the projector's steady pulse. I stood tall, slides glowing, my voice clear, presenting 30% growth. Clara and Julian at my side, their new division roles earned, their smiles fierce. The board leaned forward, pens poised, the Boise skyline sharp beyond the windows, a city bearing witness. My engraved pen rested on the podium, gold glinting, its work done, the framed email on my desk, its forged signature a faded scar. Clara's smile flashed bright, her nod a vow, Julian's eyes steel, his focus afire. I clicked to the final slide, numbers stark, Vertex soaring, Summit Edge a footnote. The board clapped, crisp, final, my triumph etched in their nods. I saw Dad by the Boise River, rock steady, his voice soft. Build, Hannah girl. Don't break. I built with my team with truth, a system Marcus couldn't touch. My phone buzzed, a headline stark. Marcus Vaughn resigns, audit exposes bonus fraud. I didn't flinch, didn't cheer, didn't pause. The rooftop dinner, my USBs click, the pens slide. They'd done their work. Marcus's empire dust, his name erased. I gathered my team, Clara, Julian, the others, their faces proud, their trust my crown. I didn't destroy Marcus, I said, voice low, hard. I built something he couldn't touch. Nora Blake's email glowed on my screen, her words sharp. Your integrity won us, Hannah. The Wilson account, once Marcus's prize, was mine, their loyalty a blade to his legacy. I framed the email, its paper crisp beside the first, a trophy, not a weapon now. The projector's hum softened, the room's air warm, my team's laughter a pulse. I didn't gloat, didn't revel, didn't need to. The conference room's light caught the pen, its initials gleaming, a quiet claim. Clara's hand grazed mine, her whisper fierce. We're unstoppable now. Julian typed, his screen bright, new contracts piling, Vertex's future bold. I saw the funeral parlor, Lily's gone, Marcus's approval, a lie I'd burned. My grief, my files, my team, they were my rocks, my tide, my victory. The skyline shimmered steady, my reflection unyielding in the glass. I didn't rush, didn't boast, didn't bend. Marcus's resignation, Nora's email, my team's rise. They spoke louder than screams, sharper than knives. I leaned back, pen still, the framed email a mirror of my truth. The river flowed in my mind, its current calm, its rocks mine. I wasn't chasing, wasn't fighting, wasn't done. A package arrived, my cactus inside, Lila's note tucked beside it. Marcus vanished, but the river taught me to stay. The Boise River flowed, its current steady, rocks gleaming under September's fading light. I stood on the bank, breath clouding in the crisp air, my boots sinking into damp earth. Vertex's office, now my home, held my cactus, its spines catching sunlight, thriving on my windowsill, Lila's note beside it. Rescued from your desk. Summit Edge was gone, acquired by Meridian Shipping, its name a whisper, its boardroom dark, Marcus a ghost. I traced the cactus's pot, its green vivid, a survivor like me. My phone glowed, Clara's text warm. We're stronger because of you. I saw her smile, Julian's nod, our team's division soaring, 30% growth a testament, not to me, but to us. The engraved pen rested on my desk, its gold still, the framed email a quiet trophy, its forged signature a scar faded by truth. I didn't gloat, didn't linger, didn't need to. The river's murmur echoed Dad, his hand steady, his voice soft. Rocks win, Hannah girl. I'd stood here with him, fishing poles idle, learning patience, learning strength. The funeral parlor, Lily's heavy, Marcus's betrayal. They'd tried to break me, but I built instead a system at Vertex, humane, loyal, enduring. Clara, Julian, Nora, they weren't just colleagues, they were my tide, my rocks, my legacy. My breath clouded, slow, the river's flow a pulse, its surface catching dusk's gold. I saw the rooftop dinner, my USBs click, Marcus's pen failing, my pen claiming victory. His empire, built on quotas, on lies, had crumbled, not by my hand but by my absence, my truth. I whispered to the river, soft, steady. The rocks win, my grief, my fight, my team. They'd carved something eternal, something Marcus couldn't touch. The cactus's spines glinted, its pot warm, Lila's note crinkled, a final gift. I didn't cry, didn't mourn, didn't look back. Vertex's halls, filled with laughter, with trust, were my answer, my father's lesson alive. The skyline beyond my office shimmered, steady, my reflection calm, unyielding. I'd faced betrayal, faced loss, faced fire, and I'd grown not louder, but stronger. My system a river, my team its rocks. Clara's text glowed again, her words a vow. You changed us, Hannah. I tucked the phone away, its light fading, the river's murmur loud, its truth mine. The email, the pen, the dinner, they were moments, not the whole, not the heart. I stood, boots firm, the air cold, the river endless. My victory wasn't Marcus's fall, wasn't Summit Edge's end. It was us, thriving, unbroken, eternal. My revenge wasn't breaking them, it was building us. Sometimes the most powerful response isn't a reaction, it's a redirection. When someone attempts to erase your worth, the temptation is to prove them wrong on their terms, in their arena. But true strength is choosing to walk away and build something better, on your own ground, by your own rules. That's not weakness. That's sovereignty. There's a quiet kind of revenge in reclaiming your dignity without fanfare, in refusing to explain your grief to those who never asked how you were doing in the first place. In growing beyond the box, they tried to keep you in, then thriving where they can no longer reach. We are often taught to rise by climbing over others, but sometimes rising means walking away, taking the lessons and planting them in richer soil, because legacy isn't built on proving you were right. It's built on showing what rightness looks like when no one's watching. If someone mistakes your silence for defeat, let them. You don't owe anyone the noise of your becoming. The most lasting power isn't loud. It's the kind that moves quietly, like roots under stone, splitting it open from within. Thank you for spending time with this story. If something in it stirred a memory or mirrored something you've walked through, please know you're not alone. So many of us carry quiet battles behind composed faces, choosing calm over chaos, dignity over noise. And that's a kind of strength the world doesn't always see, but it matters. If you've ever had to rebuild yourself in silence or rise after being overlooked, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. Your voice, your presence, it could be exactly what someone else needs to feel less alone tonight. And if you'd like more stories that honor that kind of quiet resilience, feel free to like, share, or subscribe. Only if it feels right. Until next time, stay steady, like the rocks beneath the river.